Hey guys, this is Cassie or Lovely Restriction. I'm checking in for my week 40 post-op lap band update. I had a lap band surgery on December 4th of 2012. My starting weight was 286 pounds. Last week I weighed in at 199.2 and today I weighed in at 196.4. So that is a total of a 2.8 pound loss since last week and a total of 89.6 pounds. So I'm really happy with my loss this week, considering last week I had like a 0.8 pound gain or something like that. Technically. I wanted to clarify one thing. I received some interesting comments on my video from last week, and so I just wanted to clarify what I meant about my scale. I had said that I was like getting on the scale, on and off the scale, on and off the scale over and over again. I don't obsess about the scale. I am a daily weigher. I will fully admit that, but daily weighing is what I need to keep me accountable daily. However, daily, I normally just step on the scale one time in the morning, and that's it. The reason I was like getting on and off the scale 100 times a day, like in one setting, was because I was getting really strange, inconsistent readings from my scale. Like one day I would weigh 199, the next day I would weigh 205. I wasn't having a 6-pound gain overnight. It wasn't water retention. I wasn't retaining any water that I could visibly tell, and usually I can tell in my ankles, in my hands, in my face if I'm retaining water. So I wasn't having fluid retention issues. It was that my scale was broken. And it took me getting on and off the scale a couple times in a row and seeing that I would step on the scale and it would say 199, and I would step on the scale 2 seconds later and it would say 200, and I'd step on the scale 2 seconds later and it would say 196, and I'd step on the scale again 2 seconds later and it would say 203. So I wasn't being obsessive for the sake of being obsessive or because I have control issues with the scale. I was simply trying to figure out if my scale was broken, and it was, and I replaced it, and I'm getting very consistent readings that make sense from day to day. Yes, sometimes I will step on the scale one day and be one weight, and the next day I'll be up 2 pounds, and then the next day I'll be down back a pound, and then I'll be down another pound the next day, and those are normal fluctuations. But having fluctuations within a 9-pound range from day to day is not normal. That means that there's something wrong with the scale. So my clarification is that I don't have an obsession. I don't have issues with the scale. I can't do a scaleless challenge because when I don't step on the scale for one day, I decide it's okay to eat foods that I have no business eating. So some of you need to step away from the scale because you're obsessed with the number on the scale. But I need to step on the scale so that I eat right for that day. That's just how I work. That's just how I function. When I don't have my scale, it's not good news for me. However, saying that, I only count my weight one day out of the week, and that's Thursdays. That's the weight I report to you. Even if yesterday I weighed a pound less, I'm not going to report that weight because I count my weight on Thursdays. The reason I do that is because when I go in for visits at my doctor's office, I go in on Thursdays, so it's just the day I got into the habit of making my videos and doing my updates and blah-de-blah-de-blah. So that's a little clarification on last week. I will say, my doctor's office scale, I am always 4 pounds heavier on their scale. I don't count their weight, because I only weigh in there once a month, if that. So I count the weight I weigh in at home when I report to you, because that's the scale I weigh in on every single day. Their scale, I only weigh in on once a month, if that. So, anyways, that's just a clarification about my weighing habits. On to this week's topic. I want to start back in 2011. I had, in August of 2011, I started seeing an OBGYN about getting on birth control, because me and my husband were getting married in November of 2011. We saved ourselves until we got married for sex, and in August I started looking into birth control options because I wanted to be like regulated and kind of in a good system for birth control before we got married, because I was already adjusting to a lot with our marriage. Like, I moved 2 hours away from home when I got married. Just living with my husband, like living with another person. Just there was a lot, changing jobs. Like there was so much going on at the time that we got married that I wanted to start making those adjustments to things a little bit sooner. So birth control was one of those easy things. Like, let's get this out of the way before we get married, right? So I did. I went on birth control in August, and I tried multiple different types of birth control out. At the beginning, I was trying different pills and the NuvaRing and things like that, but all the things I was trying had estrogen in it, and I had a very negative reaction to the estrogen. It caused me to have heart palpitations, increased blood pressure, and pitting edema in both my feet and ankles. So that wasn't an option for me. So then, after I went through all the trials with the estrogen birth controls, I started trying out progesterone birth controls, and my body responded very well to that. I really didn't have a whole lot of side effects or issues of it, so I ended up getting the Implanon birth control implant. It's a little plastic rod about the size of a matchstick that they insert under the skin of your upper arm. And it slowly releases progesterone into your bloodstream over the course of a 3-year time period. You can get it removed before the 3 years is up, but you can have it in for a maximum of 3 years. So, when I first got the implant, it worked great for me. I really didn't have a whole lot of issues with it. I stopped having a period, and I didn't have a period for pretty close to a year and a half, and if I did have one, it was pretty light and just, pretty mild periods, just like spotting and stuff. But then as time has progressed and as I've lost weight, the more weight I lose, the more sensitive to the side effects of my birth control I get. So I've started having a really regular period where I have it like pretty much every 30 days. And when I have a period, it's awful. Like I've talked about before, I can't get anything down. Like I have to be on liquids for at least the first day and sometimes the first 2 days of my period. Also, I've had it's been slowly occurring, but it's pretty much the worst it's ever been since I've had the birth control. I pretty much have completely lost the ability to self-lubricate. So that's been a big old damper on our sex life, because sex has been really painful. Even with other lubricants, they wear off rather quickly, and then it's just painful. Very painful to have sex. And it's not that I don't want to have sex, I completely do. It's not a fun experience anymore. Also, increasingly worse, I've gotten really bad mood swings where I just don't handle stress very well. I get very anxious and I snap at things that I would not normally snap about. So, overall, I've had a pretty rough couple of months from my birth control, and I believe it's because of my weight loss. So, me and my husband talked it over for a while and decided that it was time to get the implant out. And because of my past problems, my past issues with the birth controls I tried when I first started trying birth controls out, we just decided that we're not going to use any type of hormonal birth control at all. We're just going to use condoms, and eventually when my menstrual cycle gets into hopefully regular again, I'll be able to start doing some more natural family planning, like tracking or natural family prevention. I don't know what you want to call it, but basically being able to track when I'm ovulating and during my fertile days, just using condoms then, but being able to have regular old-fashioned sex the rest of the time of the month. So we'll see how that goes. When we first got married, we didn't really want to have to go that route, because I did have irregular periods. Because of my weight, I developed irregular periods before I went on birth control, so natural family planning methods and stuff just weren't going to cut it. And as newlyweds and as virgins, the thought of having to use condoms sounded so anticlimactic. And they are. I mean, come on. We all know condoms suck. Who wants to use a condom? I don't want to use a condom. What the heck? But we're going to, because seriously, it's so bad. We're going to be really serious about using condoms and preventing, especially up until December, because I'm in a contract with my surgeon's office that I wouldn't get pregnant during my first year after surgery. So I'm going to try to stick to that as best I can. And we're just going to have to really be diligent and good about using condoms until after that, and then I don't know what will happen. We'll see. I mean, like, we're not going to start trying. I don't actually foresee us start trying, but, accidents can happen, and we've talked about that, and if an accident happens, obviously, to us, it will not be an accident. We will view it as God's gift to us, and we will be completely excited and thrilled that God would entrust us with a child. So, yeah, that's kind of our take on it. I am a Christian, and I do have really strong faith and belief in God, and I believe that ultimately He is the giver of life, and He is not going to give us something that we're not ready for. And He will give us something we might not think we're ready for, but He knows we're ready for. So whatever happens in our future, as far as that area of our lives is concerned, we are completely just trusting God. So, for the most part, except we still are using condoms, because, yeah, I guess we're not completely trusting God, but whatever. I'm not going to go that much into depth. I'm just saying, like, we know what we want. If God wants something else for us, He can definitely take control of that issue. He can take control and do what He wants. So, that's what's been going on with my week. I had my birth control implant taken out this morning. I also had my female check done. I started my period yesterday. So yesterday, that's why I didn't film a What I Ate Wednesday, because yesterday I had my period, and I didn't eat, because I took one bite of an egg at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and PB'd, and so the rest of the day I stuck with liquids. And today I did eat a little bit for lunch, but then I was PBing up my dinner, so apparently when I had my pap smear, it made me crampy, and I'm guessing that threw me off. Ginger, I'm sorry I haven't done a Wonderland dance for you yet, but I'm going to do that this weekend. I'm making a plan to do that this weekend for you, because it means a lot to me to film that video for you, and I do definitely want to celebrate with you being in Wonderland. So stay tuned for that. I will get that filmed this weekend. So, yeah, I gotta upload this video, because I don't even know if YouTube will let me. Sometimes it stops me when my videos get too long, and I don't know the cutoff point. So, anyways, I love you all. I hope you are all having a better week than what I've had, because it's been pretty hard for me. Just dealing with all these issues with my period coming and my birth control and just stress at my job and stuff. So, anyways, I hope you are all well, and I will be watching your videos this week. Bye!